Welcome to a new episode on the State of Michigan podcast. Today we're going to be talking about Monty Williams, J-Mo and the Lions, Caleb Love, and more. I know that's Caleb Love stuff. Bunch of old baloney news, but we're hitting a lot of new stuff because, as everybody knows, me and Jaron have been out of this thing for a little while. We
Been a
took a little,
while.
yeah, it's definitely been a while. We took a little break from, we got out of school. It was summer. We needed a breather, but now we're back for good, and you know,
Lots to catch
maybe
up
it's
on.
yeah, lots to catch up on. We might have a little break again right before school, but we're gonna try staying consistent. But I have to
Yeah.
move back up north. But that will be a story for another time. But I want to get into just how Jaren's doing, and then we'll get into these subjects.
Well, thank you for asking how I'm doing. I appreciate that. I'm not, but I just been watching some Tigers baseball, doing my thing, trying to chill. I went to Cleveland, watched the Tigers game, then to go to another Tigers game at some point at Comerica. But I've been
Yeah,
vibing, dude. What have you been doing?
man, I have not been watching the Tigers
Oh,
because I kind of thought I was the
so
reason they were
cool.
cursed, but
Probably.
then. But then Riley Green and Eduardo got hurt, and I was like, nope, it's not me. It's just they're cursed.
So
Um, but
unfortunate, dude.
but that's the subject for actually towards the end of this
Yeah.
podcast. For those watching this on YouTube, or maybe you're watching on the podcast, but you're curious about watching on YouTube, we will timestamp all our categories based on what we talk about in this podcast, so you guys can skip to whatever you guys want to hear us talk about. That way it's easy for you guys to hear, what you guys are interested in, and it's also very time efficient for us.
Yes. I
Um,
tell you what, that was a lot of editing that we had to do with the single videos.
you guys have no clue. We were up like we were editing and just cutting stuff up and posting stuff for like an hour and a half probably, and that doesn't count us recording. So it got very time consuming.
Mm.
So this should work better for both parties, I think.
Yeah.
But I want to start off with a big splash that recently happened. And when I say recently, I literally mean yesterday. The Detroit Pistons, um, they went out and got their guy. They got Monty Williams, and he's one hell of a coach. And when I see this, before you speak on this, Jaron, I just want to bring this up for any Pistons fans who haven't really thought about this, or any Detroit sport fans. Maybe you're just like becoming intrigued about the Pistons. Maybe you don't follow them that much, but you're intrigued. Not too long ago, the Suns were a super young, bad team. Monty Williams comes in. First year he had like 19 wins. Second year 30 wins, and then the rest became history. The 30-win year was the bubble year, and then after that they took that next step. And you're seeing a very familiar build here in Detroit. When Monty went to the Suns, they had a young D Book. They had some
Uh-huh.
young talent in like DeAndre Ayton. I'm not sure if Ayton was there the first year. He might have came in the following year. But now you kind of have that. He's in like that same situation in Detroit. You got that young Cade, you got a young Jaden Ivey, a young Jalen Duren. We were just talking about a young Aiton. So it's very similar, and you're basically saying, hey, what we want you to come in and do is repeat and do what you did with the Suns here in Detroit. And he definitely got paid uh
Yes, he
to
did.
do that. So
Yeah, getting paid is an understatement. That dude got loads of money, and I think the track record speaks for itself. But I think it's good after what was the bunch of rioting of the fifth pick in the draft lottery. I think that's a much needed boost in morale.
the fifth pick was absolutely crazy. Like, no shape. Like, they need to fix the odds. The fact that as the worst team in the NBA has a better
Uh,
chance at landing the fifth pick than a top four pick will never make sense to me. Like, you get like a 48% or something in the top four, and then it's like 24 and 26, or I don't know. Like, the odds are just weird when it comes to getting that five and six pick. It doesn't make sense. Um, but I think that was really knocked the wind out of a lot of Pistons fans win that lottery. It wasn't even not landing Victor or anything. It was just the fact that you were the worst team and you don't even land top four.
That is, bro.
Which
I mean, yeah,
it
it's
is
awful.
it is definitely absurd. But at the end of the day, outside of Brandon Miller, who you would have wanted at two, it's looking like the guy you would have wanted next is probably going to be there, considering Scoot Henderson. You weren't really looking at another guard, although Scoot Henderson would be hard to pass up on, and you'd probably just have to pick him because it's like I don't know. There's just such a big drop off after that. So, um, hopefully this all works out for the best. But I will also want to touch on. I was listening 97.1.
Oof.
I know they're like kind of our rival. Not really. I'm not playing
And they're
that
not
card.
even.
I'm not playing that card. But no, they brought up a great point that I didn't realize. Um Monty Williams. So I realized this. So the Pistons made a contract offer to Monty Williams. He rejected it. They come back, Tom Gores, he's getting a lot of shit for living out in LA. You don't really buy into our city. Kind of that whole issue you have kind of with the ever since the one
Village.
yeah, I know it's Illich, but what was his first name before his son took over?
Mike Ilitch.
Oh, was it Mike Illich? And
Yeah,
the one now is who?
Chris Ilitch.
Chris Illich. Okay, see, I mix them up. So,
Yeah.
and then I just forget. But no, Chris Illich kind of had that problem with the city of Detroit for a while of you don't care about our baseball program. I don't know why you're running it. You don't spend money. Um,
Still
and
has a
Tom
problem.
Gores was getting that same hate, and he went and showed, yeah, I may live out in LA, but you know what? I care, and he made this man the highest paid coach in the NBA after the first offer got rejected. We saw this with Michigan State. Mel Tucker rejected the first offer. Then he accepted. Now they're two super high paid coaches.
Yeah.
um, so I think it's funny how that all connects. Also, Tom Gores, I believe he's a Michigan State alumni. Am I right? I
Mm,
believe. So
I don't
there's
know.
even more dots connecting there. I'll look it up, but I'm just gonna say it's a fact until I know I'm
Fact.
not right.
Facts
But
here first.
uh, it was cool to see those dots align. I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, certainly. I think it's a better direction than where they were a week ago or so when that was announced. But good things. You hope that he can take the young core, coach, and make them really talented NBA players. And who knows? Maybe uh, things will go in the right direction. Maybe they won't. But that's why you pay the guy because the track record is there, and if it continues, only good things can happen.
Yes, and I did want to say that I was right, of course.
Oh
Tom
yeah,
Gores was a
facts.
Michigan State alumni, so
We don't lie.
fact,
We
like I
don't lie.
said,
We just
we
have
do
facts here.
not lie. So yeah, that's enough Pistons. I mean,
Yeah,
yeah.
true that.
Now it's time to win. Like now, in order to get talked about, you gotta win, or you gotta just, we'll
Just
see what
suffer.
they do in the off season. You got 30 million to play with. You could open up like 50 mil because you know how the cap's movable. So
Mm.
they definitely have the ability to go sign somebody. So like, let's go get Monty's guy, and let's keep building this thing the right way.
Yeah, certainly.
But we're gonna hop over to the Detroit Lions. Uh, okay. First, I want to start off with the JMO crap.
Lot of things. Yes.
Yes, there's a lot of things here. First, I want to start off with the JMO bullshit because
Oh yeah, for real.
he gets suspended. That's whatever. That's all in the past. But then I want to talk about. I don't know if you've seen this, Jaron, but JMO was interviewed during OTAs, and literally the whole interview they spent time talking about his suspension. He talked about his suspension, what he was doing, liking the rumors about Lamar Jackson and if his relationship with golf is good and what he think does he actually like being in Detroit and all this bullshit, just harassing this kid. Like
Yeah.
what a report. Like people in Detroit wonder why people don't like being in Detroit. Like have we ever looked at our press and been like, dude, you're the reason people don't like being in Detroit?
I can attest to that. The press can be I feel like negative a lot of times. They focus a lot on the bad and not to focus on the
Press
bright
in
future.
general.
I think it's a mindset. I think the city of Detroit, especially, has been just through so much crap that we just want to go to the next step of the bright side of the sun. And you know what? We don't like all this gloomy garbage. So,
Yeah, and I
uh,
think the fans are desperate for like good news, good teams, and all this, and then our press comes out and gives us this, and it's like, dude, like, yes, I want to hear JMO talk about how much he loves Detroit, but like, you literally gonna straight up be like, bruh, how do you like Detroit? Like,
oh, do you love
and
us?
like, but then in the meantime, harass and be like, oh yeah, well, like, what were you doing getting suspended? Like,
You
talk about
fool.
that. Like, why didn't you know the rules kind of thing? Like, dude, just chill. Like, ask him about what his off-season training's been like. Like, ask him how he's been preparing for the season. I'd rather hear him talk about his training this off-season and what he plans, the strides he's making, the conversations he's had with Calvin Johnson this off-season, what he's been doing with Amon St. Brown, all of that. I'd rather hear about those conversations than
Yeah.
us talk about what we already know. We already know he wasn't aware of a gambling rule or whatever. Like I don't
Sounds
need
like
to
you got
hear him
beef.
go further into it. I just don't like all the negative air. I feel like there's been so much negativity around this team lately,
Really?
and for no reason. Like
I
just
mean,
out of OTAs, I just feel like there's been like a bunch of like I don't know. It's
oh, they're
just
getting the spotlight. They're getting the
just a
spotlight now.
bunch of midness. Like there was a report that came out that Jared Goff was like shit in OTAs. Like, okay, so like we're gonna like you for example. Now this is like a quick example, but you were talking about how bad the Tigers hitting looked in um training camp, and I was like, dude, like people are experimenting so much in that shit, like you can't judge it. Like same with OTAs. Jared Goff is probably experimenting throwing so many deep balls he normally don't throw, or throwing in windows he doesn't normally throw in to know if he can throw in those windows type shit.
Yeah.
Like like you can't judge it, but then they want to blow up these articles like Jared Goff, he looked worse than Nate Sudfeld. Granted, his track record's better, so don't worry, he'll be the starter. Like, what type of shit is that? You're really gonna compare him to Nate Sudfeld? Like, let's get a grip.
No, the media. I just don't even bother reading, listening, watching that garbage. I know. I watch my team's product. I see it with my own eyes. I form my own opinions, and that's why you come here to listen to us. Real opinions that we're the only opinions that matter. For real.
The only opinions that matter, and that's the other thing. Like, you kind of touched on this. Like, they're talking about how like bad Jared Goff be looking and stuff. I'm like, I got 5 years of Jared Goff. Like I don't even know, probably a little bit more than 5 years. I don't know, something like 5 years. And not once, yes, he's had some bad years, but not once was I like this guy is just as bad as Nate Sudfeld. So like, cut with the bullshit. I already know it's cap. Like
uh,
he could have tie his worst year, which would go back to his rookie season, and I'd still take him over Nate Sudfeld.
yeah, I don't know what you were reading, but
No,
yikes.
no, I was just fucking on like, um. Ah, fuck. I don't. I think I was listening to Woodward. They brought it up, and I saw something on Twitter. I
That
think
was
that
your first
mentioned it as
problem. That was your
well.
first problem.
No, yeah, there's something sometimes, but they've been better lately. They've been better lately. I don't like
Give
throwing people under the
it time.
bus
Give it time.
either. I really don't like throwing people under the bus sometimes, but they have been better lately. But yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know. It's just they have. I'm not even trying to be mean. I don't even. How did they even start? Like for real.
Ah,
They started with like they already had a following when they started, I feel like. Like
oh,
they
that's
came out of
interesting.
nowhere and they already had like 25K subs somehow. But that's
They
beyond the
probably
point.
say dumb. They
They
say dumb.
they're
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
bunch of kids. They're like this is the thing.
It's like
Like take 7 kids out of your high school to talk sports. That's literally them. Like none of them like went to school for broadcasting. Granted, none we didn't either. But like I'm also talking to 9
Damn.
subscribers, so I don't give a shit. I love you guys, don't get me wrong, but I'm very
Oh
authentic, I feel
god.
like, okay?
Yeah, yeah. We're real. We keep it real here.
Uh, oh, well, all right. But no, there's more I want to talk about because we didn't touch on this and I almost forgot. We haven't talked since the draft. Um, Clearly there's been a lot of shock going around. Jameer Gibbs shocked a lot of people. Jack
They're
Campbell
pretty good.
shocked quite a bit of people. Sam Laporta shocked quite a bit of people. And then after all of that nonsense, so after like the first like 2 rounds kind of went crazy, um, I think the draft became more predictable for us.
Yeah.
As predictable as like a 5th round pick can become, because you're like you never really know who your team's picking
Yeah.
in the 5th round kind of thing.
I get that.
But like as far as like 3rd round, like I was like, I actually think we're picking Hendon Hooker, and then it happened. I actually thought we were taking Brian Branch, and then it happened. Or I was hoping. I wouldn't say I thought we were, because I thought we were at 18, to be honest. That we did it, and then I thought we were at 33, and then it eventually happened at 46, I believe it was. So, um, but no, I want to hear your thoughts, Sharon. How is this, I guess another step in the right direction for Detroit? How do you feel about the draft? Um, Now that it's been like a
Yeah.
month since the
Yeah.
draft, are you still like kind of like what were they thinking, or are you like, okay, this is starting to make more sense the farther, or I guess closer we get to the season?
Well, I think in the moment it's more of a like pick, but trust that these guys, they go through draft boards, they know who they want on their team, they have a vision. They're working in that draft board room for a long night and they've been working for they have these guys scouted. Many people on the draft, they know what they want. So I have faith that they got the guys wanted, maybe particularly because I know the trades that happened. They probably want to take his name, Will Anderson, if they could have, or you done something. But I believe they got the guys that are going to make them better and that are going to be able to buy in the culture. And I think that's key, right? If anything, they traded
Yeah,
Swift too. That's a whole nother thing. But you get a backup for who's that Chicago Bears running
David
back
Montgomery, David
Montgomery? Yeah,
Montgomery.
Montgomery, and then obviously you're putting more depthful positions at line, and I think that's good. Is who we have now? I'm forgetting his name too. I'm bad with names.
Where? At
Linebacker is
what
it Anzalone?
position?
Anzalone, right?
Oh, Anzalone, we signed
Yeah,
back, and we also have Malcolm Rodriguez.
yeah. So you're adding more depth in those certain areas. Obviously, to Porta. Uh, Good things. I think I believe in that vision. I really like the direction that they had. Looking at the draft as a whole, I think it was a
Yeah.
pretty solid, really good class of guys, and they're already good as we talked about many times in the past. Adding more talent is just make they're in a good spotlight. They have a bunch of primetime games coming this year, a lot of hype. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys fit
Primetime
into
games.
next year. Yeah,
Starting the
first game.
season on a primetime game
Oh
too.
yeah, that's
And
crazy.
we got like 5 total. And like I think I had the same feeling as a bunch of people. Is I was shocked when I saw Jameer Gibbs.
Yeah,
Originally I wasn't as high on him as a player. But then once we drafted him, of course I did more research. And I started falling in love with his vision. He has very good vision as a running back. And when you hear how, because I was looking at him as a pure running back, but when I hear how the staff wants to use him, they want to use him everywhere. They want him to be lined up as a wide receiver just as much as he's lined up as a running back, and they want him in the backfield with David Montgomery back there at the same time, and just really making him a very, they called him a weapon. They didn't call him a running back. They called him a weapon, and That's what they said when they were asked about drafting him. They said he's a weapon, not a running back. Or they didn't say he wasn't a running back, but they said we're getting a weapon
Or
when they said him.
yeah, they look
And
at it.
that made the pick worth it. When
Mhm.
I heard that, I was like, okay, so he's not gonna be that traditional just running back because the big thing about running backs is we talk about how they have that short shelf life, but we are never scared of picking wide receivers in the top 10. We're never scared of I mean, clearly the Lions aren't scared of picking tight ends in the top 10. They've done it so damn much. So when you hear that, we're going to use him kind of like how the Niners use Debo or how the Chargers use Eckler just everywhere. That's encouraging to know. We're gonna get him the ball in open space. We're not just gonna run him downhill into linebackers, and
Yeah,
wear his body down. So that was encouraging. I also thought it was interesting to find out that, I mean, it's rumored to be, but I think it's true based on the fact we passed on Bijan at 6 to
hmm
draft Gibbs 10. I think it was 10th.
yeah,
Um, Actually, it might have been 11th, but uh draft Gibbs at 11th, but to hear that we had Gibbs ranked above Bijan was very interesting. It
hmm
also might have just been because we were looking to replace Swift, and clearly Gibbs plays more like Swift than Bijan, as Bijan's a bigger back.
right.
But then it was also interesting to hear the rumor that, the Lions were planning on picking Devin Witherspoon, who ended up getting drafted at 5.
Yeah,
So that's also what changed a little bit. And then to hear that, there was like 3 teams in like the next like 10 picks that were planning on taking Gibbs or rumored to take Gibbs, leading to us taking him that as early as we did.
right.
So
Yeah,
all of these like draft rumors are so interesting after the fact. And then it
yeah.
makes you realize, oh, so maybe that's why the Lions did this or did that. And it just all starts
Mm,
to make sense.
well, yeah. So much goes into drafting and doing all that stuff. Like a casual fan that just sits there and critiques. There is a lot that goes into it. There's calls, moves, or deals, those of things, and you're trying to find people that fit the system. And with football, you've got guys that some people are trying to find it's going to fit our work, the way we work, our system, and how they do things. Obviously, they like to give. They're here, and people are going to take them. Take them. Obviously, we probably want a Witherspoon. Is what you mentioned. Is what the top can. I mean, that's what I would have thought as well. Because really underrated in my opinion, as far as
And he's
draft
very physical,
goes.
and you
Exactly,
know for
very
a
physical.
fact, and he comes from an underdog school, and I
Mm-hmm.
think we would have loved that mentality on our team. But
Yeah.
I'm also happy with a guy like Gibbs. He comes from a winning program. He knows how to
Yep.
win. And when you're with the team that, last year we spent a lot of our time learning how to win. It's good to have some more winners in that locker room.
Yeah.
Guys who expect a lot, and that's one thing about Brad Holmes, as he talks about it all the time, man. He drafts the player. I mean, he drafts the person, not the player. Granted, of course you got to draft players, but
Right.
he is more concerned about what's in the heart, what's in the head. Are you smart on the field, and do you have it in the heart to want to, be the best you, be the best player, and be the best guy, like leader in that locker room, and be a
Mm-hmm.
leader of men. That's what he looks for in his guys. That's why we got guys like Aiden Hutchinson over Kayvon Thibodeau, even though I loved Kayvon Thibodeau as a recruit last year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's a maturity between the two that Hutch was just further ahead last year come the draft. And I think that was a big pusher um, last year
Definitely.
when it became between the two. Outside of the injury histories that KT had, and there was just off-field stuff that people were worried about. And you know what it led to? It led to the Lions taking Hutch, and I think you see that if you went back and looked at all these other players, you'd see a lot of similarities. If you really, really take a deep dive, like think about
Mhm.
every player Brad Holmes has drafted in the last 3 years. There's very few that you can say he causes problems. I'd say the closest you've gotten to it, outside of like Levi, who just hasn't played a snap, which honestly isn't really like a problem. It's either he actually just has injuries, like, like I don't know, he just really has an injury problem,
Mhm.
or he doesn't have the heart anymore, one of the two. But I'd say outside of Levi, you're probably looking at JMO. And like JMO
Yeah,
literally came out and said when we were harassing him about the stupid gambling shit that he literally had no idea that he couldn't bet on college football at the
that's tough.
facility.
Yeah,
Literally the only reason he's suspended right now is because he did it at the facility instead of at home, which
yeah,
is
it's dumb.
incredibly dumb to me.
The whole dumb argument.
And so many players have come out and said, the NFL doesn't come and tell us all these rules. They don't make them obvious. They don't make us aware of this. And like that's not an excuse because the Lions should do a better job at making sure their guys knows what they can and can't do. But it is also bad on the NFL as well to not make the players aware and then go ahead and suspend them for half a season. I think it's ridiculous. Like if it's that important, they should be making an emphasis to make the players aware, hey, you can't do this.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, that whole situation was just dumb, and the fact that he's suspended kind of sucks. But I think they'll bounce back just all right.
For sure. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think so far about the Monty and the JMO, all of that news, because it's been so much already on this podcast. But
Yeah.
we are gonna jump into our next segment. We got some college sports. First off, we want to talk about love
Oh,
and the whole Michigan situation. Once again, Michigan rejects the player because he's just not smart enough for the school apparently.
oh,
They don't care if you're good at ball. They're like, nah, you don't have the transcripts for this. Bye.
that's so
When
dumb.
like when does Michigan become desperate enough to be like, all right, dude, you're good at ball. Well, we can risk one player, having a 2.7 to stay here.
I don't think that's ever gonna happen. It's so dumb. Like
Like
Michigan's
I want to know these guys' grades. Like low key, like what are they rejecting? Like, because imagine he had it came out he had a 3.2 and he got rejected.
they
Like,
probably did. But here's the problem: Michigan's so petty and uptight. Like they care too. Like I believe we lost in the recruiting class, Papa Conte, because he didn't have the grades to get in, and the other one, Caleb Law, I believe it was just a transcript. So probably could have had good grades, but Michigan's like, oh, this doesn't. Oh, you don't have a transfer or something. Stupid and it's dumb to me. Like the basketball
now
program
he's
is in
over
absolute
balling for
shambles.
Arizona.
Yeah, he'll ball out.
If Arizona was second on his list, how low does that make? How like does that make like Michigan like barely better than Arizona then? Like is that how low their basketball program is now?
Dude, but hell, I'll take
Although
Arizona. They're
no,
doing good.
wait, did he go to Arizona?
Yeah, Arizona. They're good at basketball.
Yeah, I know, but they're kind of like they're a confusing mess. They're like good record wise, but they suck every year in the tournament, so I don't actually think they're good.
That's true.
You
They
know?
did. They did
Like
four.
I have this like I actually like I know they're gonna finish the year like I don't even know like what would it be like 25 and 5 every year,
Some
but
shit like that.
they just suck in the tournament every year. So in my head, I just keep saying they're bad because they're
Yeah,
a
that.
packed school and they just don't ever
Yeah,
do shit. It's kind
but
of
Michigan
like
basketball.
it's kind of like when a pack school makes the college football playoffs, but they'll get wrecked in the playoffs. So it's like you're not really that good. It's why we don't keep make like it's why we don't take Oregon seriously, and it's why we don't take. I mean, we didn't even like take USC seriously. It's like the same thing. Like we know you
Um,
don't play defense or you don't have offense. It's like
yeah, they get
you just
it.
don't
This
match
it
up.
happens every year. Like the up college football Pac-12, Pac-12 team will get clapped in a bowl game by some other team, and then we put this other high pedestal, beat this Pac-12 team. Like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson?
And that's the same thing with March Madness is they want to take the best team from every conference and then act like, okay, this team's that good. But like really the conferences are just on different levels.
That's true.
Like I'll take an SEC Big Ten team all day when it comes to college basketball. Granted, I don't even know like who won it this year. I don't even remember.
Who did win it? That's a good question. I forget.
Oh, it was a nobody. It was UConn, right?
Oh yeah, that was the boring national championship.
Yeah. What even conference are they?
I think they're Big East.
Big East. And
Yeah.
then the
So
year previous it was an SEC team, right? It was no, it wasn't North Carolina. It wasn't Duke.
I thought it was Kansas. I'm
Uh,
pretty sure it was
oh
Kansas.
yeah, and Kansas is they're not SEC, are they? They're AC. No, they're SEC, right?
Big 12.
Ah, I thought, damn. There's so many conferences.
It's
It
more confusing
confuses
in
me all.
basketball. Yeah.
Especially because in basketball, you're rivals with a lot of schools that aren't in your conference. So I get confused because I'm like, Duke and Kansas are a big rivalry. Wait, is Duke in that conference? I don't even know. No, Duke's in the ACC. Yeah, see, and
Duke
then I'd think that
ACC and then
Kansas is in the ACC too, even though
Kentucky's
they're not in the same
SEC. Yeah.
conference. But they
And
make a big deal about that game. Just
North
like they
Carolina.
make a big deal about Kentucky and them.
Yeah.
They're just all in different conferences, but then they're all rivals. It's like weird. But anyways, I'm getting carried away. Um, go back on your Caleb Love tangent.
What did I say? Oh yeah, just how petty Michigan admissions is. And that basketball programs, they're in a rough spot. Like I don't think they're gonna beat any game season. That's just my
Who's
visual observations.
you think? I actually think this, so I'm curious on what you think. You think they'll be the worst team in the Big Ten next year?
No, I think they'll be better than like two or three teams. I think they'll be in the bottom. I think it's like an Ohio State situation.
I don't know, bro. If I'm being honest, well, Ohio State was second worst, weren't they? Didn't they finish second worst? Granted, they
Well, they
finished
ended
in the
up,
tournament hot, but
yeah,
they ended second worst. I'm pretty sure only better than Minnesota, I think. Right? Minnesota finished
yeah.
last,
There'll be
if I
some bad.
remember correctly. But really, if I look at your guys' roster, did the
Don't
one
do
kid
that.
come back? Did the one did the one kid come back that put his name in the NBA draft?
Hell no, you think we get guys back? Nah, our guys are still
So you guys lost Buffkin or whatever? Kobe
Buffkin.
Buffkin? Kobe Buffkin
Buffkin.
or what?
Yep.
Buffkin? I don't,
Kobe
you guys lost.
Buffkin, Jet Howard, and Hunter Dickinson. They all said, "Oh, see ya." Even his
Nah,
own
bro.
son just dipped on his father.
Nah,
That's messed up.
you guys are gonna be the worst team in the Big Ten next year. I'm just saying it now. Like
No,
you
we
guys
got.
have
Don't worry.
nobody. You guys have
Don't worry. We got the
nobody.
second. It all depends. I mean,
Like I said, you guys have nobody.
we've got Doug McDaniel should be solid. If Terrace Reed takes a step up like he was, that's a good center. But depth wise,
But he ain't no Hunter Dickinson.
nope. But
And you guys were bad with Hunter Dickinson.
we have no depth. So that's not that we were bad every game.
But you were
Every
bad.
game.
You didn't even win the NIT.
Oh, dude, because we blew the game. God, I'm so mad. Don't bring it up. Awful, awful time.
Who ended up winning that, by the way?
I don't even remember. I remember Wisconsin ended up choking.
Wisconsin lost like right at the end, didn't they?
Yes, it was. I think it was somebody random. Nobody broadcast it. I stopped paying attention.
Okay, okay. But we're gonna go move on to like an actual good basketball program. The big news came out that Jaden Akins and AJ Hoggard are returning to Michigan State.
Yeah, that's nice.
Uh, this is massive news for that program because this was like a big indication on whether or not they could really, really make a Final Four / championship run next season. And you know what? This team's gonna be one hell of a team next year.
Oh, I know that it hurts a little bit, but they bring back their guys. They played good ball towards the end of the year last year in the tournament. You bring back a lot of those guys. Have a good recruiting class. I mean,
Hmm.
it's an experienced team with young talent, and those are the type of teams that
Go
do make those
far.
pushes because you see a lot of talented teams out there, especially in the Final Four, that are very good through the season, but they just don't have that veteran experience. You mix a lot of that with the Spartan team with young talent. I mean, it's definitely a team that could make a Final Four push, championship push. That doesn't always mean they're going to go out there and win things, but it's definitely a team that could be bet money on and might be safe.
Just bet
Bet your
like
mortgage.
$5. Yeah. Bet your mortgage just to win $10 versus Michigan next year. That is not financial advice. Do not take our
Take his financial advice.
do not take my financial advice. I'm not trying to get sued. That was all Jaren. So no financial
No,
advice here.
no
Um
financial advice. Do not listen to us. We are not real. Do not listen to
we're
us.
not real financial advisors. We're just, broke college students.
But I'm just saying.
But no, for real. This a lot of people have been getting on like Tom Izzo for the longest time. Once again, he's keeping his college students, ruining their careers. Not
Facts,
letting them go to the
facts,
NBA. Blah
facts.
blah blah. But I look at this and I do think it's the best opportunity for Akins and Hogard because they truly are in a prime spot to make a run next season. And, in all honesty, these guys were going to be second round guys, if that, right now. Maybe Akins, could have been late first. You never know because you've seen like a guy like Jordan Poole that one year. He kind of snuck in as the first. Like some of these young, like high potential guys can sneak in there.
Yeah.
So that's why I say he could have, but most likely these guys were day two dudes. Um, and when you return to a team like this and you make some noise in March, all eyes are on you, and that just puts you in a prime situation. If you make it the Final Four, you make it to a championship game, you make those big moments in March. People are going to be wanting you, and this is a great opportunity to get guys like Akins, Hogard, and Xavier Booker drafted in that first round next season. So I actually think this was a great move by them on their part. I think it's better for their future, and it's also a great opportunity, especially with players getting paid now. Like
Yeah.
you don't get paid that much as a day two guy in the NBA draft. Like you might as well come back, get your NL money. You're gonna get paid probably just as much, and you get a chance at a bigger contract by getting drafted in day one next year, or not day one. I'm used to then in the NFL draft, round one in the round one in the NFL NBA draft. So, I think it was a great move by them.
Yeah. I mean, it's admirable. I guess. Hurts my
Mhm.
team, but that is what it is.
Don't worry, your team's not gonna be competing with them next year, anyways. But
Bet that
what?
mortgage. Bet that mortgage.
Do not bet that mortgage. But
Uh,
uh, once again, not financial advice. But moving on to the Tigers. Where do we even start? Let's start with they don't suck.
they don't suck. That's surprising.
La- last time we talked about them, they sucked.
We said it
We
was
were
over.
already made episodes about the season being over.
I mean, hell, it was looking like that though.
It was. We were like 3-10. There was no offense once again, but at some point they turned that around, and then at some point Riley Green decided to fuck around and hurt his leg, and
Yay.
Eduardo Rodriguez decided to fuck around and find out what the IL was like, and here we are.
Here
Um,
we are.
so the season's not over,
It's not.
but it's no longer pretty anymore either.
It's.
Oh,
I wouldn't say. I mean, I'd say it's more uh-oh territory.
and I wouldn't say oh it's pretty.
No,
Um
that was not pretty.
we have to find a way to survive while these guys are out. Can we survive 6 weeks without Green? I don't think so.
It
Um,
depends, man. We got that new guy, Jake Marisnik. He played yesterday versus Texas. He had a good debut. I think you're looking for a guy to plug in that's basically like even half of what Green was doing for you. If you can just get a plug and play guy that gives you solid at bats, timely hits, nothing crazy because you're not going to replace Green. We know that. Uh,
the
you
problem
could.
with the problem with not having Green. Well, the problem is with Green, we were playing 500 baseball, so then you want half of Green, half of the best player on this team.
I
I
need
I
some.
think I think you're looking at a 350 average for
Yeah,
the
screw
next
it.
6 weeks.
Yeah, screw it. We're just gonna go sign Shohei Ohtani and trade for him, and that'll fix all of our problems.
And then we'll just have freaking 20 outfielders and no infielders. So, oh,
Dude,
actually,
we
well, what the hell am I even talking about right now? For some reason, you said Otani, bro, and I
yeah.
legit was thinking of Aaron Judge. That's why I said outfield. Uh, but no, actually, another pitcher would be nice.
Yeah, pitcher, hitter, all that good stuff. I
I'm
mean,
ashamed you didn't stop me when I said another outfielder.
I didn't even realize.
I don't even know what I was really
Dude,
like.
speaking of
I
outfield,
had Otani in my head, bro, but I was picturing him in right field. Like I had like a mix of Aaron Judge and Otani stuck in my head. It's because you talk about Aaron Judge so damn much.
my
Are
bad. I
you
wanted
still
Aaron Judge.
you still on that train, man?
Nah, dude, it's over. That train's done.
What even
Passed.
happened? How big was the contract? I didn't even really think about that.
I think he got 6 years, something or the other. I don't remember the money, but
Damn. So we got for him.
who cares? Who cares? Who cares?
We'll trade
Um,
Riley Green and his leg that he can't keep intact.
oh gosh, yeah, dude, when he got
Remember in 2 years when I said trade Riley Green because his right leg just it's gonna hinder him for the rest of his career.
dude, our outfield when he got hurt was left field was Eric Haas, our center fielder was Zach Short, and our right fielder was Nevin. I'm
Where
like,
was Badu? Where was Badu?
but
He's
do
still.
eventually pinch hit. I was wondering the same thing. I was like, we got three position players in the outfield. What are we doing?
I just never get like, did he do that because he wanted to play the pitching batting
Yes,
matchup that
yeah,
much?
he always
Like,
plays it.
I don't get that.
I'd
Like
rather
at
have
some
somebody that
point
he's.
you're sacrificing too much on the defensive side.
I agree. But that Texas series was
Like,
rough.
well, eventually we're going to be putting Miguel Cabrera in center field.
That's what it felt like, dude. Nevin was slow. We couldn't get the
Eric
ball.
Haas, bro.
He's played a lot of outfield.
Since when? I haven't been watching, as you guys can tell now. But
He's been quite a bit in the outfield this year. I think they tried to start last year with him. He's done a solid job out
where does he
there. He's
sit?
kind of
Right
went back to
field?
left field.
He has the hair as for an outfielder.
Yeah,
That long
but
ass flowy hair.
but it's been a fun season so far. I mean, they've had some good moments. They played some ball. The at bat. Zach McKinstry's been a surprise. Some other guys. Zach Short's been playing well. Akil Badu's starting to come back around to what he used to be.
Nah, bruh, send him down, as Jaren once said. What
Yes,
a
during that
dude. What a
freaking
dude,
there was a
bruh.
stretch of
You were
ball.
giving up, dude. You were shit talking to him even
No,
when he
no,
was hitting like 240 and shit. And I'm like, bro, dude was literally just a year ago hitting like 215. How about we like wait and like give him some time? Like maybe he's actually turning a
yeah, but he
corner
was
again.
doing so many dumb
And
things that
now he's hitting
pissed
like
me off.
260 something. And he's been actually very good. And he's a great defender. He brings wheels when it comes to
Well,
the base
easy on the
path.
defender. He made some boneheaded plays. He's becoming a better defender as
Okay,
the but
you get mad at him because of his arm, but he covers a lot of ground out there.
no, I 100% agree. I love his speed, and if to the team when he's good, obviously we need him to be good. He's gonna need to step up. But Fearling obviously hurt now. He was kind of nice, but
Just know, Jaren hates Akil Badu.
I don't hate Akil Badu. I was upset with Akil Badu because I knew what he could be, and
That sounds like a man who hates
he
Akil
just
Badu.
regressed so much after 21, and then he looked like garbage again to start this year. Like, what do we die?
It
And he
didn't even
finally
look that bad.
it wasn't as bad as 21. Pretty. But that's besides the point. I love that he's doing better. I love to see a good Akil Badu. And that Grand Slam,
Yeah,
that was cool. That's the swagger that I wanted to see.
he's been smashing them balls again.
He's seeing the ball better, and he's taking better, not swinging at everything. He's waiting for his pitches, and when he's doing that, good things happen. I say it all the time. Like, that's what Nick Maton needs to do. Dude, just
Maybe that, maybe that Akil Badu rookie card that I have will make me bank one day.
gets hurt. Hopefully, I mean, he needs. I think he can still be a fun player. And that's all we need, right? If Badu's doing well, hopefully this Merznik guy pans out for us for what we need him to do. And who the hell would we have? McKinstry's
Wait,
been a pleasant surprise.
I'm curious. I don't actually have a Akil Badu rookie card, but
You don't.
if you could have any rookies baseball card right now,
Any rookie?
who do you think would give you the best chance of being a payday?
Any rookie?
Any rookie.
Huh.
Here, I'll give you this. Even like any young guys,
Any
like
young guys? Okay.
developing. They don't have to be a rookie this year. They could have been like a recent rookie.
I gotta tell you, this kid that we just played at versus Texas, I don't know
Like,
because
is it the young kid? I don't
Jung
even know if
kid,
he's young.
dude. Yeah.
That kid?
Jace Jung,
No,
whatever his
Jace
name. I
Young
know we
is our
drafted
guy. Jace Young is our guy.
Josh Young then. I
Josh
think it's his
Young.
brother. He you could if you didn't know that he was a rookie, you would think he's like a seasoned veteran. Like he has
Is he actually a rookie?
such a good swing. Yes. And he
This
lit
kid,
us up.
because I've seen his name. I've seen his name before, and I've seen him like near the top of some of these stat charts. So like that's how I was
Yes.
familiar with his name. And I didn't know because like I haven't followed the Rangers since like Beltron and all, all
Yeah.
those guys. And so I just was completely unfamiliar with the Rangers. So I didn't know if he was just like, he'd been there for a little bit and he's just like kind of like mid good. So I
Uh,
just don't know who he
he
was.
he looked really good playing us. I mean, I haven't watched and seen much of him, but versus us, dude, his swings are pure. He found ways good at bats. Tough out. So I put stock in him. And if Green didn't hurt his leg, yeah, I put stock in him as well.
All right, y'all. Now you know what to do. If you guys got a Josh Young rookie card, send it to Jaren.
Send it to me, dude.
He'll give you $500 so he can hope to make 2K in the future.
Oh, that'd be nice. It would be
How
real nice.
much have you seen how much those Mike Trout cards go for?
No, I have not.
Wait, hold on. Mike Trout rookie card. Ready for this?
Oh boy.
Hold on. We've gone so far off track,
We
but
we have so gone off.
3.93 million, bro. That is crazy.
Oh
Dude, imagine
god.
being a 8-year-old kid, bro, like freaking like 10 years ago, bro, when you were like 8 or I guess like 12 years ago when you were 8, dude. You just randomly pull this Mike Trout card, life's normal and shit. Bro,
Yeah,
20 years later, you're worth $4 million.
exactly.
That's absurd.
Crazy. Yeah, we should reel it in. We should reel it
How much would a Miguel Cabrera card be, you think?
in. Miggy? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I had a Miguel
Like,
Cabrera signed card.
did you?
Yeah, I did.
Watch this. This is the last thing before we end this podcast. So this is just intriguing.
Trading
And it's
cards.
baseball. Um Miguel Cabrera is not as much. There's one that is 2000. I mean, it makes sense that it's not as much to be fair because he's been hurt ever since
Yeah.
like 2018. But still Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
So
I guess
there's
I can
that.
take a final word on the Tigers then real quick.
What's that?
To end it, expectation wise, we're on. I'd like to share my expectation.
All
Now
right.
the green changes it, but I think they're playing solid baseball. I think where my actions were before the season, it's kind of in part. I thought this team could compete. I'm like, why couldn't they compete? This division's garbage. And the reason that they are competing, let's be honest. They're now their teams back in the division at recording of this podcast. They're coming up in the month of June, and we're gonna see what they're made of because they're gonna play the Twins this month. They're playing solid teams this month. It can find a way to stay afloat, and I'd say if they're within 4 to 5 at least, if let's just say they drop off, if they're within striking distance after the All-Star break, because eventually you're going to get Scooble back at some point. He's been progressing. Manning will be back at some point. I don't know if that'll be soon or whatever it's going to be. I don't know if any moves we're going to make, if we're going to call somebody up. But if they're within that range, I think they can potentially make a push for this division. This division sucks. The teams in this division suck. They're not making a wild card. That's a pipe dream. It's just, I think if they can stay afloat and stay within striking distance, uh, they can make some sort of divisional push, and that'd be fun. They'd get creamed by the first team they saw in the playoffs, but you know what? That'd
Hey, anything can happen once
be
you're in the dance.
that's true. That's true. But this is telling. These next few weeks are really telling. I mean, if they fall off a ladder, we'll know why it happened. If they stay afloat and continue to play good ball, we might be able to, I don't know, play around with some things. I mean, you got a really good closer in Alex Lang. You had two of your best players not hurt though, so it hurts. That so hurts my soul.
Is Casey Mize missing the whole year?
I think so. I think he's starting to do some things. I don't know what he's. I
Yeah.
don't know if,
I can't remember when he got the Tommy John last year, but I mean I
yeah.
know Turnbull missed all of last year, so that's sad because
Yeah,
Casey
we'll
Mize was
need.
really coming
Yeah,
on last year too.
yeah, we'll need Manning and Scoople to come. I think they should progress soon. Uh, Hoping to get those guys back. Those would be a huge help to us. 'Cause we're gonna need it
So
because
much. The pitching's been so bad. So
recently.
bad. But the problem is even like okay, you get like Eduardo back, you get Mize, I mean not Mize, you get
Well,
Skubal, you get Manning, and then like the last two spots, um
we got
like
Lorenzen,
Turnbull
who's
was iffy.
Lorenzen's been
Lorenzen's
good.
been doing
He's been
solid. But then that fifth
yeah.
spot still it's like okay, Fuedo has been like it depends on the day.
It does depend.
Wentz, it depends on the day. Like all these
Wentz,
other guys that depends on the day. It's like
true.
just
You need
such
that
a
fit.
coin toss. Like I just
Yeah,
want a dependent fifth. Like you don't have to be that good, but like a consistent like okay, he's gonna give up 4 runs. Like I know what to expect because some of these guys they go in and they're just like
you never
one
know.
run or 8 runs. Like you don't know which it's gonna be. It's either gonna be impossible to win with them in, or they play lights out.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
mean,
just more really bad than it's been good lately.
yeah. And I guess now that we're back to doing podcasts, we'll definitely talk more about the Tigers and kind of break it down wherever we record it. Uh,
For
but it's
sure.
definitely gonna be interesting to see. It'll be an interesting month. They finished 16-11 in May. It's a winning record for the first time since September 2021. A fun month. They did some good things. They played some good big. Wanted to find a little more consistency in that month, but definitely made a push to make things interesting here for June.
Oh, most definitely. That being said, guys, if you guys enjoyed this podcast, make sure that you guys leave that thumbs up button. And if you're listening on the podcast, not on YouTube, make sure you guys leave a review and
Yeah.
drop 5 stars. Because even if we were dog shit at our job, um, your mom told you to be polite, and
Yes, that's
dropping
true.
5 stars is very polite. So, thank you guys for the support, and we look forward to talking next week with y'all. So, that being said, peace out, guys.